Well, the Trump ballot ban fight's escalating this weekend, with multiple states now expected to challenge the former president's 2024 ticket legitimacy. Joining me to debate the political panel that may come to define the 2024 trail is former special assistant to President Trump at the White House, Mark Lauder, and Democratic analyst Ari Aramesh. Thanks to both of you for being here. Mark, let's start with the Republican side here, with this particularly weird, not to be pejorative, maybe unusual is a better word, campaign season where the big ticket questions about the primary, such as, I don't know, who's going to win in Iowa, are being replaced with questions about where Trump is now going to be kicked off the ballot.
Well, I think part of that is because it's really a done deal. I mean, when you look at the polling, it shows Donald Trump up by 30, 40 points nationally. He's up in all of the key states. So we've got to talk about something. So let's move it to the other argument. But, this just reinforces what we see over and over again. I think a lot of people out there is that Democrats are so desperate to get him off the ballot that they're willing to go to these extraordinary lengths to do it. And it just reinforces to people that they're out to get this guy, as opposed to just fighting fair and square and let's decide this at the ballot box in November.
So, Ari, take a listen to what Democrat Jamie Raskin said earlier this morning. He talked about the unique situation that Trump is in, but he says he's actually chosen to disqualify himself from the race. Take a listen.
If you think about it, of all the forms of disqualification we have, the one that disqualifies people for engaging in insurrection is the most democratic. Donald Trump is in that tiny, tiny number of people who've essentially disqualified themselves.
What do you make of that?
Well, I hope the Supreme Court would address some of these questions. Third section of the 14th Amendment addresses the issue of insurrectionists and those who have aided and abetted enemies of the United States. Problem is, President Trump has not been convicted in a court of law for insurrection. He's not even accused of being an insurrectionist on any of these 92 criminal indictments against him. So I got a problem there first. I'm trying to keep my legal hat on for a moment and give you some legal analysis. Second issue is, if the Supreme Court gets this case, and they will get this case. We got Michigan, California saying it's okay to put Trump on the ballot. We got other states saying no. There is a discrepancy here. They will decide this question and they will answer it. Chances are they're going to keep him on the ballot. Problem is, are the conservatives, the so-called states' rights advocates on the Supreme Court, gonna go with state law and state Supreme Courts, or no, they're gonna enforce federal law and say, now this is, and they're gonna sort of take a more federal or sort of a holistic, strong central government view on it. But let me put on my political hat for a second. These polls don't matter. We beat you guys in 2020. We beat you guys in 2018 midterms and 2022 midterms. And we're gonna beat you guys again, fair and square. And the last 2 weeks of the elections are all good. That's going to matter. Most people are going to vote right now. They're not even following the polls. They're just worried about the economy. They're worried about their day-to-day, business.
That's why we win.
And
because they're worrying about the economy.
And the thing is,
and historically low poll numbers
true,
for an incumbent.
These are low poll numbers. That is true. But you're also talking about one of the most polarizing, if not the most polarizing figures since Andrew Jackson, that is running on the other side, and that's Donald Trump. I haven't met and found that many people who voted against him who are now going to vote for him. So we got a good chance of winning this. And again, Trump has been on a losing streak. He lost by 8 million in 2020. 2022 was a disaster. You guys expected a red tsunami. It was more like a trickle. In 2018, we took back the House and the Senate.
So, Mark, I want to get you to respond to that quickly. Take a listen to Governor Chris Sununu about Trump on the ballots.
If there was any validity about keeping Trump off a ballot, you'd see 48 other states trying to do the same thing. Personally, I think this was very politically motivated by the Maine Secretary of State. Trump should be on the ballot.
What do you say?
Yeah, I think it's very easy. And I think the Supreme Court should have a very easy time making this decision, because as much as we talk about Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, Section 5 of the 14th Amendment says the Congress has the power to enforce by legislation this article. Well, that doesn't say Secretary of State's. That doesn't say the Colorado Supreme Court. It says Congress. And I think that's an easy out, and it should be a 9-0, maybe an 8-1 decision.
And to his point, the Supreme Court is going to look at 2 states who are now standing out as outliers amongst the crowd of 50. If this was such a great idea and had so much legal validity, where are the rest of the states?
Exactly. And what we now are creating is unequal opportunities under the law, where some states can vote for the candidate they want to, and some states can't vote for the candidate they want to. And I think this will be very quickly disposed of by the Supreme Court.
Do you think President Biden should weigh in on this?
No, President Biden should stay out of this. This is an issue that's going to be decided by the Supreme Court. And again, what would happen if states like Arizona and Georgia decided to take Biden's name off the ballot? This will be a tit for tat. This is going to tear the whole country apart. We have elections for a reason. Again, in my opinion, yes, Trump incited an insurrection. In my opinion, yes, he has aided and abetted enemies of the United States who attacked the Capitol.
Well,
Having said that,
to be
he's
fair,
never been
though,
tried
the
and convicted.
president has essentially said the same thing publicly.
Which president?
President Biden has been asked multiple times by reporters. He said, he was asked last week whether he thinks the President Trump incited an insurrection. He said he believes the scenario speaks for itself, tells you everything you need to know.
And again, if that's what President Biden said, I fully agree with it. As I said, I think President Trump has incited, and President Trump has helped and aided and abetted, and at some points tried to pay legal fees for some of these guys who attacked our Capitol. But let the people vote, and let people decide who they want as their next president. And as I said, with all the fanfare right now, 30 points, 10 points, 5 points, it's going to come down to be a pretty close election. And we're going to beat him again. Again, 2016, we just lost the electoral vote. We won the popular vote. The next three elections that Trump actually had any horses in the race, or when he was the horse in the race, we beat him fair and square, and it's going to happen again.
Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? The answer is no.
That is the
Two-thirds
question.
of the American people disapprove of Joe Biden. Disapprove of him on every single issue. This thing is it's going to be close.
On his worst day, Biden is going to be better than a president who woke up every day and tweeted disaster and crises after crises.
There are a lot of people that would exchange $2 a gallon gas for a mean tweet every so often.
All right, we got to leave it there, gents. But thanks so much for taking time with us for a lively debate. We appreciate it. Happy New Year as well.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, yes.
All right, well,